All right, everyone. We're back with the live streams. Wow. I feel like I haven't done this in ages. Good morning, everyone. All right, so it's gonna be a thing from now on. The live streams are back. They're not going anywhere, not anymore. So, all right. Okay, so as usual, we're looking at gold versus US dollar in relation to silver SMT. I think it's going to take a while until I'm actually going to get used to doing the live streams again, you guys. Okay, so as usual, please do let me know if the sound is okay. Let me know if the music is fine, the volume and everything. Okay, so my view for today with gold. Honestly, not much. All that I see is liquidity areas, and unless or until one of them is swept, I won't be able to say a lot, honestly. So yeah. So we're looking at the 5 minutes here. There isn't too much going on at the moment. So I do see sell side here at the low of the Asia session and buy side at the high of the London kill zone. Yeah. Honestly, I'm totally neutral at this point. I mean, yeah, this is pretty obvious, this thing that's going on right now over here. But, yeah, there's an SMT, unless it's going to be confirmed by a fair value gap to the upside. There really isn't anything worth looking at for now. Honestly, what I would like more to see would be silver sweeping the buy side above the high of the London session or London kill zone, and then gold, you know, sort of like rebalancing this thing over here and then rejecting off of it. Yeah, but we'll see. Also, if I go to like the 1 hour chart, you know, this move here on silver has been too stretched to the upside, and there's a lot of sell side sitting there. And, you know, taking into consideration that this accumulation area here on silver occurred around the same time with this area here on gold, which this has been already broken to the downside, retested, and then we also had a follow through. I think it would be really good if silver could sweep buy side and then show some sign of rejection, because that would really give me like a confirmation that whatever gold is showing here is indeed weakness. So yeah. But, you know, I'll just see. For me personally, there's nothing better than just watching the 5 minutes and, you know, waiting for something relevant to occur here on this time frame. I'm not such a big fan of predicting, you know, it's going to do this or it's going to do that or stuff like that. I'm not good at predicting, and I don't want to be good at predicting, honestly. I just want to be good at, because, you know, being good at predicting basically means just giving your own opinion about what the future is going to bring, what's going to happen in the future. And if we're talking about price action, like what price action will do in the future, it doesn't matter if I can predict whether it's going to go up or down if I don't have better skills to identify when it's going to do that. So for me, honestly, I haven't been trying that much throughout my entire trading journey. I haven't focused that much on prediction, but I've actually focused more on identifying the entry patterns, not even the entry levels, not even the POIs, the points of interest, not even that. I think that the most important thing is to develop that skill, which is going to help you identify that right now it's a good time for you to enter the chart. And I think that having this skill is paramount when we're talking about day trading. It doesn't matter if you are very skilled in saying, well, it's going to go up and then it's going to go down, or saying that, well, once it's going to reach this area, then it's going to do this. Because, you know, if let's say right now, let's say that I'm very good at predicting the fact that, well, you know, silver is going to take out this high and then it's going to start to go down. It doesn't mean that, like, that can happen, right? But when I say this, and usually when people make this kind of prediction, they usually expect a reaction right away. Sometimes that reaction will come right away, but many times it's not going to come right away. Or if it's going to come right away, then it's going to just overshoot one more time, take everyone out, and then, have the meaningful reaction. So in my opinion, I don't think that, and this is an advice that I would really, really give you. Stop focusing so much on predicting what the market will do from where it will react, and rather focus more of your energy on developing that skill that will help you to identify whether right now, when you're looking at the chart, is a good moment for you to enter a trade or not. Because, and this is something that I've noticed with myself. And honestly, I don't think that I'm the only person who has ever felt this, that whenever I open the chart, I still have that impulse of, okay, what trade can I take right now? And 95% of the times when you open the chart for the first time of the day, for the first time for that day, you will not open the chart at that exact moment when an entry confirmation occurs. So you will have to develop patience into waiting a lot. Sometimes you're going to wait the whole day in front of the chart for something to occur, you know, for your setup to form, and it's never going to form. So instead of becoming good at making all sorts of predictions and assumptions that it will do this and it will do that, rather focus on figuring out when it's the right time for you to enter the trade. Because at the end of the day, we aim to trade. You are not a trader unless you place a trade. And the idea is to be a consistent trader. Consistent trader means to consistently use the same set of rules, make it simple to follow for you, easy to understand for you, so that you are motivated to follow it. And most importantly, you are motivated to go through the boredom of waiting for your setup to form. So, yeah, this is something that I really, really, really advise you guys to do. Okay, so it's already rejecting from here. Let me just mark this down because I've mentioned it a little earlier, and just to make sure. Okay, so I wouldn't really, like you guys already know, if let's say that right now this is like a POI for me to take a short, I wouldn't really take the short unless I would see a rejection candle on the 5 minutes. So 1.5 minutes until this current candle will close, plus an additional at least 5 minutes until the next candle is going to close. And we don't really know if this candle is going to respect this fair value gap, and we don't know if the next candle will reject off of the fair value gap. And not just this, I don't just need the fair value gap rejection candle, but I also need for silver to reject after taking any sort of buy side liquidity. So for now, just waiting. Yeah, just waiting. Okay. Because we could also see it just, you know, go. And yeah. All right, you guys. Well, if you have any questions, let's make sure that you guys ask them. I'm here to answer if you have any questions, so feel free to ask. You know, at this point, I would be really tempted to, or I would have been at this point, right? So at this point, earlier, like in my early trading stages, I would have been really tempted to take a short trade right now, just by seeing the fact that price created a wick off of that fair value gap. And you could say, okay, well, you can take a short trade because yes, price is creating a wick off of that fair value gap. You do have the, you know, SMT, whatever. And silver seems to be rejecting with this candle from you know, this high. And that's very true. But I just feel like being a bit more patient with this is always better, always better. So I will force myself to wait another 3 more minutes until the current candle closes. And if I'm gonna miss the train, so be it. But at least I'm following my rules. Sometimes price could also rebalance any of the bearish fair value gaps that it started to create already on the 1 minute chart. Like sometimes I will take a trade that happens like that, right? Like that. But I don't feel like doing that right now. Plus we haven't had any rebalance of a 1 minute fair value gap, so. And yeah, there's 2 more minutes until this current candle is going to close. So a lot can happen within the next 2 minutes. That includes, you know, slightly rebouncing back up and then, you know, starting to move down with the next candle. Or it can also include like just boof, you know, melting. But I'm fine with whatever happens. Okay, so 1 more minute until this candle closes. You know, if this candle's bottom wick is going to remain big like this, I'm not going to be really happy with selling, okay? So if that happens, I'm going to wait for some sort of entry confirmation on the 1 minute, and the idea that maybe the bigger bottom wick of that 5 minute candle is just aiming, like I said earlier, to rebalance one of these bearish fair value gaps from the 1 minute. So if that would be the case, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a 1 minute some sort of rejection. Like for example, let's see, this candle is going to start to reject now from this fair value gap by closing bearish, or this is going to close bullish and then the next one is going to close bearish. Okay, either from this fair value gap or one of the slightly upper fair value gaps. So the 5 minute candle closed. It's not bad looking, you guys, but it's still gonna be better if I'll just wait for something more like a meaningful rejection from anything off of here. Okay, so unless I get some form of rejection, I'm not gonna get in this trade. I'm also really happy with me not rushing into this trade, because here on the 1 minute, I can definitely see how this has been creating lower lows supposedly, but silver has been creating higher lows. So this is like a conflicting SMT, because it's conflicting with my idea of shorting. Okay, so that's no longer needed, the fair value gap. So someone's asking if I consider dollar index movement while entering any position on gold. No, I don't. I only focus on the correlation between gold and silver. I would have considered these two, especially because there are two consecutive bearish candles rejecting off of this fair value gap, right? But I don't like this busy. So I'd rather like to see an invalidation of that. Or at least some form of rejection candle on silver coming in at the same minute with a rejection candle on gold. Because I want to see that these two get back in sync. So they are unsynced simply because gold has created a lower high when silver has created a higher high, okay? But in order for me to consider that they are ready to start moving downwards, they have to recorrelate. So the recorrelation moment to me is extremely important. Yeah, I guess after all, silver will go for that London session high, London kill zone high, buy side liquidity. And if it does that, chances are gold would also like to sweep this high or something like that. And that's totally fine, because it would still be divergent with gold. Because basically silver is going above this high and gold isn't. So still divergent here. Oh boy, I'm so glad that I waited and didn't jump into this, like, straight up. I think it's the best feeling that one can have when you just follow your gut. And in this case, it's not just that I followed my gut, but I've actually acted on logic. Okay? Pure logic. Big down wick and lots of bearish fair value gaps here. Maybe one is gonna, maybe one of them is gonna be rebalanced and rejected off of. And like I said, you always want to see that these two are going to get back in sync. So if I see the 941 candle rejecting on gold off of a fair value gap, but that same 941 candle on gold is a bullish candle, then it doesn't really make me think that these two are ready to start going downwards. And then again, the next candle, same thing, 942, bearish on gold, yes, but bullish on silver. Then the next candle, 943, bearish on gold, slightly bearish on silver, still not enough for me to consider that, yes, it's ready to reject and go downwards. Then the next candle looks as a rejection, like 944, looks as a rejection from a SIBI here on gold. However, I want you to look at that candle on silver. Okay, it's still bullish. So the fact that these two aren't synchronizing back into wanting to start to go down, it doesn't make sense to take a trade. You know, just looking at it, it's not that hard to see that, you know, it's just consolidating. Maybe because of the bank holiday that's, you know, it's going on the European side. I don't know. Oops. One minute until the current candle closes. 1 minute. And silver did sweep buy side eventually. And yeah, we'll just see if gold will keep respecting this fair value gap here. So still closed inside the fair value gap. Still closed inside of it. Obviously, there's this thing over here as well. Right? I mean, it's quite obvious. Sort of. Yeah, I think it's going to be a boring session, but that's fine. That's okay. Okay, 44 people watching the live stream. Thank you guys. And only 10 people liked the stream. Can we get more likes, I wonder? Alright guys, let's hit that like button. Let's light up the stream with some likes. Of course, only if you like it. I'm sure many of you wanted to jump in a trade recklessly, and I've just saved you a ton of money, so just for that, I deserve some likes. Boring, boring, boring. So like I said a little earlier, it's really important to get used to the boredom of trading, because most of a trader's activity is just going to be waiting. Most of it. And honestly, if you find yourself plotting all sorts of PD arrays on your chart, that the moment when you open your chart, you go to daily, you go to weekly, you mark this, you mark that, you come down to the 1 hour, you mark this, you mark that. Okay, then you go to the 15 minutes, you mark this, you mark that. Now it conflicts with whatever you've marked previously on the 1 hour or on the daily or whatever. If you find yourself doing a lot of sketching and a lot of drawing on a chart, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just stop doing that, because the more things you add onto your chart, the more options your brain will see, and the harder it's going to be for your brain to make a decision when it comes to making a decision. And usually the decision that it's going to make is going to be the worst out of all the possible scenarios that it saw. Someone says in the chat, Trading Guru, that I'm not a trader, I'm an influencer. Okay, so how exactly am I influencing you? If you're saying that as a disservice to me, it actually wouldn't be. Because it's good to have influence on people, you know. So if you see me as an influencer, thank you. It means that I can influence people, which is one of the biggest, best skills that one could have. I mean, just look at Donald Trump. You know, he influenced his way as the president of the United States of America. So he did that by influencing people with his words. Yep, so thank you, Trading Guru, for seeing me as an influencer. That really means a lot. Yeah. Alright, so at this point, this pretty much became like an inversion fair value gap. But I still sort of like believe in the possibility that we're going to see price moving lower. There's still a possibility, only that the way it looks right now, it would probably take a lot of time until a bearish setup would form right now. Maybe sweep this and then bearish fair value gap and then rebalance and drop. We'll see. But it means that we're looking at least 20 to 30 minutes for that to happen. So like I said, trading is a waiting game. Really interesting to see how silver will behave off of this fair value gap. Honestly, what I would like to see it still support my idea of bearish. I wouldn't really like for it to invalidate it. I would like for it to respect it, go slightly higher, and then invalidate it. So, just so you know, a fair value gap that has been respected, rejected off of, and then created a higher high, if that will be invalidated later on with the bearish fair value gap, I would dare to say that 95% of the times price would reject from that bearish fair value gap and then go down. Still consolidating on the 15 minutes. Looking good right now. Like, I really love the way it looks. Silver, it looks good. But gold is just... bleh. And there's still this 1 hour SIBI here. This flip zone. Maybe even not at the wick. Not here at the wick, but rather at the bodies of the candles. So I'd say around, what price is that? 33.46-ish. $33.44.45, somewhere around that area. Now I haven't looked at silver to see what is driving the price on silver that much. Yeah, nothing really. Oh, okay. It actually does make a lot of sense right now. These areas. Anyway, apparently I do have them marked on my chart, so there's a long way until there, or you know, till there. So quite a long way till there. Oh, huge. Okay, so just it's doing the right thing. At least a part of the thing that I would like it to do. I'm not saying, you know, whenever I say that I would like to see it do this, it's not that I'm predicting that it is going to do this. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm just saying what would make me believe more in the idea that it could still go lower. And I've just noticed that many times whenever I say that I would like to see this pair do this and that in order for me to still have like you know, the conviction that it's eventually gonna want to seek lower prices or higher prices, whatever, usually it's gonna do just that thing that I would like to see it do. And I think that reframing your prediction process in such a way, if you want to call it prediction process, of course, reframing your prediction process in a way that you tell yourself, well, I would like to see it do this, rather than saying to yourself, it's going to do this and then it's going to do that. Because many times when you say, well, it's going to do this and then it's going to do that, many times when it's not going to follow your prediction model, you're going to feel so disappointed, and that will not cheap, but it's going to chip away the trust that you've built in yourself and your ability to analyze price action. And it's just detrimental. Really, it is detrimental to building yourself as a trader. So instead of saying it's going to do this and then it's going to do that, rather say I would like to see it do this in order for me to then have a stronger conviction that then it's going to do that. Because if you put it this way, it's not like you're going to feel that your analysis was not on point. You're just going to say, well, okay, I would have loved to see it do this, but it didn't do, so then I'm fine with this as well. Not so much action today. Yeah, I was somewhat expecting that, to be honest with you. Because it's Monday and because there's no news event scheduled on the US dollar. There's also been bank holiday in Europe. Pentecostal Day. I have no idea what exactly we celebrate today. And although I remember I looked it up a lot of times I Googled it a lot of times, it just never stays with me. I don't know why. I guess it's not the kind of information that I'm really interested in. Maybe it just wouldn't help me at all. Okay, so just look at silver right here. I love whatever it is that it's doing off of this 945 BSI. I simply love it. Whenever you want to take a short trade, it's a good thing to see the price go up prior to giving you an entry confirmation to take a short trade. It's always good to see it go up before you're actually considering, that it's going to go down. So I love what silver is doing here. If it could, I would love that. Of course, if silver would invalidate this BSI here, and it would create a bearish fair value gap and whatever, that would still not mean that it will replace the need for gold to create the setup that I'm looking for. I would still want that, but then I would have more certainty that whatever setup would form on gold, it's going to have a lot more probability to hit my profit target, simply because silver would do this thing of, invalidating a previously respected fair value gap, that not only that it respected it, but it also sent price higher. And there's a big chance that we're not going to see that happening, which is fine. That's fine. It's totally fine. Trade talks between US and China too. Yeah, trade talks between US and China. It's like, I just don't even want to talk about the confusion that this back and forth thing that's going on with the trade war between China and US. I have this sort of like image that I have this sort of like image that Trump and Xi Jinping, they're just sitting at a table and laughing their asses off because of the confusion that they're creating while they're playing. Honestly, I just have like this weird image in my head. They're just watching the confusion that they created, and they're watching people go back and forth, back and forth. Oh, we're going to do this. No, we're going to die. Oh my God. Oh my God. As if they would watch like a Netflix movie or something like that. That's what I feel. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. Someone says that them too, and Elon also, just having a chuckle. Yeah. Together with Putin. Yeah. Really. Together with Putin. Oh, crazy, crazy times we live in. Oh wow, just look at it fly. Yeah. Buy side, buy side. And that flip zone and that 1 hour fair value gap. Yeah, we'll just see. Whatever it is gonna do. Okay, so buy side liquidity here swept, and apparently no reaction from these equal highs. Well, actually, there was a reaction, but not the kind of reaction that all of us would expect to see. You know, there was a reaction like a break, a retest, and then a follow through. But obviously, we're not used to that kind of reaction, or just that kind of reaction, but whatever. Now, very interesting. Yeah, so silver, no sort of reaction whatsoever. And to be honest with you, like for silver right now, it could be either way, either up, the sky's the limit, or down. You know, but it seems to be gaining a lot more momentum to the upside, especially since it created this busy off of this busy, which again, it's what I call like inception fair value gap. It's just adding more sense of bullish momentum. So it's not just that it went down, just rebalanced that busy, but then it moved away from it with even more imbalance. But gold, it's still steady. And now, even now, just looking at it, if I were to follow my setup logic, okay, like the logic of my trading setup, price is still divergent right now, okay? So we still have this. Even if, however, the I wouldn't call it a problem or an issue, but the thing, the way I see it right now, will be that even if silver would create like a huge bearish candle right now, and at the same time gold would create a bearish candle, and I could say, well, okay, so I had the first leg of the SMT, and then the second leg of the SMT is printing a bearish candle at the same time with silver rejecting after taking buy side. It would still not make sense for me to take a short on gold, because it would only make sense if whatever rejection would occur here on gold would occur as a rejection from a fair value gap to the left side. If there isn't any. There isn't any. So if I'll just consider like the most simple aspect of trading, which is the following. The only two reasons because of which price will ever move in either direction, it's going to be one of the following two reasons. Either to rebalance an old imbalance, or to sweep liquidity, to take liquidity, not necessarily to sweep it. So right now, if I'm thinking that, it's going to be either one of these two reasons for which gold is going up here, it's either going up to rebalance a fair value gap. Here on this time frame, there aren't any fair value gaps to the left side of the chart. There is only that SIBI on the 1 hour, okay, this one over here. Or it could be going up to take out buy side, and not necessarily to sweep the buy side and then pair it with smart money short orders, because it could run the liquidity, use it to go higher, and also rebalance the SIBI, and then just end the day in a consolidation, because till the moment it's going to do that, there is going to be a lot of time passing from this session, and it wouldn't make sense to enter trades later on. So it means that it would still have to take out this high, and then there wouldn't be any more SMT divergence, at least not on this time frame. Now, another thing that would make my model still make sense would be creating a SIBI here, rebalance it, therefore creating the lower high. And at the same time, silver would go higher and create the SMT. And then that would make sense. But again, it will still require some more time to wait until that would happen on the 5 minutes. Yeah. I think this session is going to end just like this, with no trade, at least for me. Because right now, if I wanted to take a long trade, okay, it wouldn't make sense for me to take a long trade unless I have unless I would have a rejection from either this fair value gap or this fair value gap. And if I'm going to have a rejection from this fair value gap, the upper fair value gap, then my stop loss just being put under that rejection candle, it wouldn't necessarily be that logic, honestly. Not from my point of view, of course, not from using the concepts the way I used to use them. Because I could be entering on a rejection candle, put my stop loss under there, and then price could still bounce lower, take me out, rebalance this into discount, and then move higher. So you could still do that. And buying in premium, it's not such a good idea. Yeah.
This is a reminder. Dinner and vitamins in 30 minutes.
Dinner and vitamins in 30 minutes. My Alexa just notified me. You know, funny is that I do take vitamins in 30 minutes, but I never have dinner in 30 minutes. Like, it's 6 in 30 minutes. It's gonna be 6 p.m. here. I'm probably gonna have a fruit or something like that, or protein shake. Yeah, protein shake would be good. Doop, 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 doop. 47 people watching the live stream. Thank you, guys. 47 people. And just 28 likes. Boop. Oh my god. You know, on the 1 minute it would look so good. It just looks so good. Really. Like, really, it does. But to me, many times is not enough to just look good on the 1 minute. Unless I can pair that with something from the 5 minutes. Yeah. Oh my God, like I'm always so amazed at how much money, how much more money you could have as a trader by simply waiting. Like, I'm truly amazed, because whenever you wait for something that makes sense to you, for something that is clear, for that kind of opportunity to execute a trade without feeling anxious whatsoever, whenever you wait, you're not losing money. That's how I feel, and that's what I've noticed, that every time I wait, I just feel that I have more money, even though I'm not taking any trade. Like, for example, imagine if I would have entered here once that 935 candle closed. Okay, so I would have risked, let's say 1% here. Okay, and I would have aimed for a 2R, 1 to 2R. So let's say I would have risked 1%. I would have been down 1% right now. But simply because I've waited for something that was clear and clean for me, I'm not down 1%. So if I'm not down 1%, you could, I guess you could say that I am up 1%, even though I'm not, because like 0 trades. But still, imagine if you could remove all the losses that you ever had because of entering a trade when you still felt that anxiety, when you still felt that you shouldn't take the trade because you don't yet have clarity in whatever price wants to do next. Just imagine if you would remove all the losses that you took like that. And then I can assure you're going to be blown away by how much money you could have right now if you would have removed those losses. Not losing money is a flex, is a win. You guys, really. Someone asking, which ICT series or content would you recommend starting with? Honestly, if you've never been exposed to ICT content and you want to start learning ICT stuff, I really wouldn't recommend that you start with ICT. Don't learn ICT content from ICT himself. Rather learn, like, I think that the best source to get info on ICT content is on Twitter. Find someone, an ICT trader, that you can analyze his trades, his content, whatever it is that he's posting. And you can clearly identify that that person is only trading one single trading model. And once you have found that ICT trader who's posting his trades, and you can clearly see that he's only using one trading model, stick with that person's content. Don't get yourself confused to learn all the ICT stuff, because right now, looking back, honestly, 90% of what I've learned, I'm not using. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying I don't need it. At the same time, I'm also aware of the fact that maybe if I didn't have this much knowledge, this much content, like stuff explained in my head from ICT, maybe I wouldn't know, or I wouldn't have found my trading model. I'm well aware of that. But honestly, if I could go back, I would just do this thing. I would not start with ICT content from ICT himself. I would just look for one person who repeatedly displays the same entry model, the same entry setup, and I would just focus on that person's content, and that's it. That's what I would do. Okay, so I'm taking a low risk entry right here. Low risk entry as in low risk, really. And I'm gonna aim for 1 to 2R. And I would really love for price to just melt through this bullish fair value gap. I would really love that. Now I gotta go in about half an hour because I have a friend that I need to help with something. Chances are that it's not gonna move that much in half an hour, in the next half an hour, but also chances are that it's gonna move. So yeah, it's just a matter of waiting. Again, like I said, I just want to see it punch through this BISI. I don't want to see that BISI could be an obstacle. It should not be an obstacle. And just keep in mind that an obstacle is an obstacle when the candle has closed. Okay? As long as this candle is still open inside of that fair value gap, even if it would fluctuate, do this, do that, do this, do that, whatever, as long as the candle hasn't closed yet, okay, it's the fair value gap is not an obstacle. Obviously, as long as the candle hasn't closed as a rejection candle off of the fair value gap, okay? That's what I mean. It would be even better if it would pretend as if it's rejecting from this BC, only to rebalance that CB and then start to move lower. That would be even better. Like it would be. So there's going to be a lot of news events this week. Economic calendar. So nothing important or, for today, neither for tomorrow. But then we're going to have on Wednesday, we're going to have CPI. So it's CPI week. And on Thursday, we're going to have PPI. And then Friday. Friday, I think it's just going to be one of those days that it moves out of inertia of whatever it did on Wednesday and Thursday. But CPI and PPI, inflation, whatever, all of this stuff, that's important. You know, just so you guys understand the importance of a fair value gap, I'm on my phone right now and I'm reading an email from FTMO where they've sent an email titled Trading Week Ahead, Top Events Set to Shake the Markets. And then, yeah, of course, they say CPI, PPI, whatever, inflation, whatever. And then they say here, a little lower in the body of the email, they say last week's opportunity. And then they show a chart of US 30, I think it is. Yeah, on a daily time frame. And they say this: no new fair value gap setup has formed this week. Do you realize that the concept that a random guy has presented to the world, the random guy being ICT, because before he became known as ICT, he was just a random guy. And he pushed this concept of the fair value gap to the public. And right now, that has proven to have so much importance. It's so relevant that it's used by institutions. Like FTMO, there's no secret that they're that kind of prop firm that it's really gonna open trades. It's gonna mimic, it's gonna copy the trades of their funded traders. So they're including fair value gaps in their analysis, like, and in the newsletters that they send to their clients. Yeah. One minute and a half until the current candle closes. You know, if it's gonna invalidate the SIBI, the 1030 SIBI, I might consider closing half of the trade. Might. I'll see. But maybe it's doing that thing that I said that I'd love to see it do, which is pretend that it's rejecting from this BISI, only to rebalance the SIBI and then move lower. Yeah, that would be nice. I haven't closed anything yet. How much am I risking here? I'm risking $400. Very little risk. Are you using FundedNext or Blueberry Funded right now? At this very moment, I'm trading a 100K challenge on Blueberry. At this exact moment. And just so you know, okay, both of them are okay. I've traded, like, the only prop firm that I've ever traded with is FundedNext. And recently I've come across Blueberry Funded. And honestly, they're okay so far. I'm particularly happy with their spreads on gold. They're not bad. Like, actually a lot tighter than I've seen them to be on FundedNext, which is a good thing, obviously. Doesn't really look that scary to me at this point. I'm not really scared of this last bullish candle. Maybe I should be. I don't know. Maybe it's also because for a 100K account, risking $400 is like nothing. Really nothing. Now, it could be, wiser, maybe, to take some risk off if silver would reject off of this BTC. Okay, I'm also going to mark this on the 15 minutes. Like so. Because it's a 5-minute BTC inside a 15-minute BTC, so yeah. Like, what I'm trying to say is that this bullish candle on gold could make sense for me to take the risk off if silver would reject from here. It would. Oh, it's so boring. My God. And yeah, you guys, like about Blueberry Funded, they are backed by Blueberry Markets, which sorry, I'm distracted because I'm looking at my balcony right now and there is a crow. Like literally there is a crow there and it's just staring at me. Anyway, so Blueberry Funded is the prop firm that is like backed by Blueberry Markets. They've been in the brokerage industry, whatever, for a lot of years, and they're like one of the top brokers. So my idea of trusting a prop firm is that if I can associate that prop firm either with an existing company, attention, an existing company that has proven itself to have a good track record, or like that has a good reputation, or if I can associate that prop firm with a lot of good reviews on social media, or a lot of good reviews on Trustpilot or something like that. I wouldn't really, I don't think that I could ever trust a prop firm just because it would be the prop firm of like a trading influencer. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, there was this, I forgot how it was called. It was the prop firm of Words of Wisdom, Riz Iqbal. I forgot how it was called. And that just, it was a total mess. Honestly, just my advice, if you're looking for a prop firm, either go for the top three in the industry, which at this point I've noticed being FTMO, but the downside in my opinion with FTMO is that they have quite big prices. Like, I think that they have one of the biggest fees in the whole industry. FundedNext has been, like, the popularity and the good reputation of FundedNext has increased tremendously. It increased so much that a lot of prop firms, not necessarily newer prop firms, but a lot of prop firms, they compare their own rates or their own trading rules or whatever with those of FTMO and FundedNext. So usually, just think about it like this. If I'm building a company and I want to compare my services with those of other companies in the same industry with mine, I want to compare my products, my services, with those of the top players in my industry. And right now, seeing that more and more prop firms, like I said, not necessarily new prop firms, but also like older prop firms, like already reputable prop firms, seeing that they compare their challenge types, their fees, and their trading objectives and their trading rules with those of FTMO and FundedNext, honestly, it makes me think that little by little, FundedNext is seen as a top player in the prop trading industry together with FTMO, which I don't think that it's just my opinion, that they're like
Trisha, time to eat.
one of the best, simply because they don't want to trick people, you know, they don't want to just take your money and, you know, then make sure that you're gonna blow your challenge or invent whatever stupid rule that you broke just to avoid paying you or something like that. So, yeah, and Blueberry Funded, the reason why it stood up with me, because they're backed by a reputable broker, Blueberry Markets. So either a prop firm that is, you can deem that to be reliable just by looking at how the other players in the industry are seeing that, or one that you can associate with an existing reputable company, not an existing reputable influencer. Because like I said, even if, I don't know, if let's say that ICT would start a prop firm, it still wouldn't mean that he's not going to get into trouble, honestly. Because there's a big difference between being an influencer that has built his reputation, and it's a whole new level to actually go from being an influencer to being a CEO of a successful company. That's a whole thing. It's a whole different thing. Someone, in my opinion, someone who's actually been doing a really good job so far at becoming like a good CEO after being a good influencer first is Raja Banks. He first was a good trading influencer, and then he started a business, Dominion Markets, his brokerage firm, and then he started a prop firm, and yeah. Yeah, someone said skilled funded traders was the prop firm of that, that Words of Wisdom made. And it was just a complete fiasco after less than a year, I think. Of course, they tried to, blame it on their systems provider and this and that. But honestly, there were signs coming way before it blew. And he admitted that, but I guess it didn't really matter. So I'm not saying that he did that on purpose. God forbid. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. All I'm saying is that whenever you're choosing a prop firm, it's always best if you can associate that prop firm with either an existing reputable company, or if they have a really, really strong community that backs them up. And not just not the community of the trading influencer that made the company, that, founded the company. Like FundedNext, who the heck knows who founded FundedNext? Who's the founder of FundedNext? There's some guy from United Arab Emirates, I think. Okay, so I think it's just gonna go against me. I mean, it's already going against me here, but it's probably gonna take me out. It's fine. Are they accepting US traders? If you're asking about Blueberry, honestly, I don't know exactly. I think they are. Also, what I've noticed is that no, actually, I don't think they do. But what I've noticed, and this is something that it's a workaround for prop firms to be able to accept US clients, is just to open up their prop firm services, whatever, and extending those to the futures markets. because US citizens are allowed to trade futures, but they're not allowed to trade CFDs. So to make sure that they can accommodate US clients, more and more prop firms, I've noticed that they're extending their services to futures. And I know Blueberry Funded is going to launch their futures division soon. And FundedNext already did that. So FundedNext already did that. They already have a futures division. So yeah, if you're from the US and you're considering, you know, a prop firm, you can definitely go for futures. And by all means, you can trade gold futures, okay? You don't have to trade Dow, S&P, or NASDAQ. Those aren't the only futures contracts that you can actually trade. Like, literally, you can trade gold futures. Same thing. Yeah, so it seems to be reclaiming this CB, this inversion. This one seems to be reclaiming that. Tisha? Oh my god, my cat just came. She woke up. Tisha? Hello. Hello. This is the love of my life. The love of my life. Ooh. Yeah. She's purring. Cutie pie. All right, you guys. So I guess I'm just gonna call it a day. I guess I'm just gonna leave the trade as it is because I really need to be getting ready to go. So I'm either gonna lose $400 on this, or I'm gonna win 800. Whatever the result is gonna be, I'm just gonna post it on my Instagram. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, same hour. And from now on, just expect that these live streams are just gonna be a usual thing. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow.